Not too long ago in a sermon I heard someone use the word WASPs. WASP stands for, apparently, White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. And it just struck me in a weird way. What is the point of saying something like that? What is the point of saying White Anglo-Saxon Protestant? I assume it's because of the idea that Christians who are White Anglo-Saxon Protestant don't have a diverse enough view of the world. You know, we need Christian theology from all over. That's the idea, at least I assume. But it's so stupid. Protestant, I will readily admit that I am. Whites, I mean, have you seen this? They don't exactly come that close. I don't have time to get into how white has somehow become a term for Western civilization as a whole, the Western way of looking at things, reality is real as there being real truth, how all of that has somehow become the word white. Because that would take way too long to actually deal with. But Anglo-Saxon, that's just the confusing part. I don't know how well you know your history, but a few Wikipedia searches can give you a basic history of the people of England. Originally it was Britons, and then the Latin Romans came, and there's a bit of intermixing there. Then the Anglo tribe came, they were like a kind of Viking tribe, and then the Saxons came too, and the Anglos and Saxons mixed. The Anglo is where we get the word for England. There was also the Britons originally there, which is where we get the word for Britain. Anglo-Saxons become the majority group. I assume Britons were somewhere intermingled in there. But anyways, at this point you had Anglo-Saxons in Britain. And Anglo-Saxons spoke what you could call Old English. Anglo-Saxon. Now I don't know about you, but I'm not sure if I get much of my theology from them. But in 1066, the Normans, Normandy is a region in the north of France, the Normans came and conquered England in 1066. And what happened is, the Normans became the ruling class, and the Anglo-Saxons were the lower class, maybe a rising middle class around that same time. Over time, the Anglo-Saxons and the Normans mixed, and there wasn't really separation between them. They're what we call English today. So people aren't really Anglo-Saxon. As for whether modern Christianity is somehow Anglo-Saxon, well, Lutheranism came from Martin Luther, Germany. Calvinism from Calvin, that was Geneva, Switzerland, I believe? And he has a bit of history in France, too. Presbyterians, they came from Scotland. The Restoration movement of churches, which is non-instrumentalist, Christian churches, disciples of Christ, those all came from Presbyterianism. The Pentecostals, they were American in the 20th century. This was a time of great immigration from a bunch of countries, and much of the Asbury Street Revival, which was one of the founding points of Pentecostalism, was black, and it was led by a black preacher. So I'm not really sure if you could call that Anglo-Saxon. Eastern Orthodoxy, you know, is Eastern, which is not where England is. Now, Quakers, Baptists, and Anglicans had a lot of history in England, so you could call them English. But can you really call them Anglo-Saxon? They were all founded after the Norman Conquest, after centuries of intermixing between Normans and Anglo-Saxons, after modern English people came about. How can they be Anglo-Saxon? The reality of it is that some Christian beliefs are just called Anglo-Saxon because that makes it sound tribalistic, you know? Your beliefs are just Anglo-Saxon beliefs. You're just like tribal, you're savages. You only believe the thing because your tribe believes them, and you don't have a legitimate reason. That's what it's all about. It's not about whether your beliefs are actually Anglo-Saxon, because they're not really. They come from all over. One of the foundational pieces of Christian doctrine, the Trinity, most of what we believe in it comes from Athanasius. And Athanasius was known as the Black Dwarf. He was a black guy from Africa. So Trinitarian Christianity is black theology, you could say, not Anglo-Saxon. I could probably say much more about this, but the point is, when people tell you that your beliefs are Anglo-Saxon, white, and you're just a product of your situation, that's not really much of an argument, and it might not even be true. Whenever someone brings this up, think about it. Are they actually making an argument, or are they just trying to dismiss you and your views out of hand?